Hey, you made it to the US debut of the 6th generation Volkswagen GTI. That's right, 6th generation. The first one started in 1977. That one had 90 horsepower. Can you imagine just 90 horsepower? Not this baby. This one has 200 horsepower, 207 pound-feet of torque, and we just spent a wonderful day up here in Northern California just beating the crap out of this car. But you know what? Whatever we dished out, it handled. So we're going to take you for a little walk around in this car, tell you what it's all about, tell you about some of the competitors. You make your own decision. We've already made ours. We mentioned the first generation GTI back in 1977, and in many ways this car kind of is trying to draw some of the retro accents from that vehicle. For example, these red stripes, they're back. They kind of went away for a few of the GTIs, but they're back. So when you see this thing coming, you can tell it apart from a regular Golf because of these red stripes. It tells you this is the performance version. Also these seats, these Interlago seats, they're back. I know the plaid looks a little corny, the red stitching, but you know what? It works. These seats are very comfortable, and we actually prefer them to the leather, believe it or not. They just hug you a little bit better and give you a little bit more room, which, you know, we need that sometimes. Now, the car overall is just a wonderful car because, let's face it, you know what? You have a $25,000 budget, you don't have a $45,000 budget. You want a European car, European feel. Sure, you can go get a Mazda Speed 3, you can go out and get a Honda Civic Si, but you know what? Those are the Japanese cars, those are the pretenders. This is the real deal. The 6-speed's great. The DSG is great as well. The 6-speed gets 21 and 31 miles per gallon. The DSG 24 and 32. You're wondering, how can an automatic do that? Well, it's not just your regular automatic. It's a dual clutch. It's got some amazing technology that actually makes it more efficient. And it's a lot of fun to drive. However, it's heavier. When you look at this vehicle in the DSG, it's another 400 pounds. If you add leather and navigation, maybe another 600 pounds total, and we notice a difference. We drove them both. So depending on what you're into, if you want to be able to throw the car around and you want this thing to just give you that feeling of this thing has a soul, it's alive, then make sure you get this package. If you do want to step up and get the DSG and the leather and everything, you're probably looking around $30,000, $31,000, which is still not a bad price point. Now let's talk a little bit about the competition, because you're going to go out there and say, hey, the Mazda Speed 3, it's got over 260 horsepower. How could you even bring this car in this class? Well, you know what? With all that horsepower and front-wheel drive, just like the Mazda Speed 3, you're going to get some oversteer. You're going to have some problems, okay? You're going to have this torque steer, and you just don't want that in the car. I think 200 is actually the right number. My driving partner and I, we just weren't convinced that a car like this, a front-wheel drive performance compact sedan, needs any more than 200 horsepower. You don't want to get all that torque steer, and this car didn't have any of that torque steer, and that's exactly what you want. You want to be able to feel the road, and this car lets you do that. So here's the bottom line. So whether you're 25 years old, you're just getting started, and you want a little more than a Corolla, you want something with some performance, this is your vehicle. How about this? Maybe you're 45, okay? And you want some responsible fun. This is your car as well. It's great. This car, it's been around for over 30 years, so it's got decades of heritage, and you know what? It invented the segment, it perfected the segment, and it's still the king of the segment.